Hello to the 6 people that will probably watch this Poker Face Easter egg video on Whack-A-Mole. Stay until the end if you want to watch the whole video. Whack-A-Mole is episode 3 of season 2. This was a departure from the usual formula as we open with Charlie being held at gunpoint by Beatrix Hasp, whilst is nervously driving her Barracuda, instead of our usual guest stars murdering each other. Or maybe actually, if you think about it, we still have guest stars murdering each other before we see Charlie's point of view. Let's have a look at the details. If the episode has a theme, it is Stephen Sondheim, who is one of the most important theatre composers and lyricists of the 20th century. Chances are that even if you are not familiar with his name, you are familiar with his work, as he has contributed to some of the biggest musical hits of the century. Rian Johnson, the creator of Poker Face, loves Sondheim, and it shows. Firstly, we have veteran actor Richard Kind, who has starred in Sondheim shows, singing Hello Little Girl from Into the Woods to his wife. That song, by the way, is sung by the wolf to Little Red Riding Hood, trying to get her to stray from her path, much like Geoffrey was trying to get Beatrix to stray away from her mob ways. Then we get Simon Helberg and John Mulaney exchanging lines from Here's to Us, from the Merrily We're All Along musical. Kind and Mulaney had also starred together in a Documentary Now episode of a spoof of the 70s documentary Original Cast Album Company, which was about the story of the live recording of Stephen Sondheim's musical Company. If you think that reunion is a bit of a stretch in terms of Easter eggs, you're right. Rian Johnson did say that it was all a happy coincidence. Moving on, a pivotal point early in the episode is at a gas station, Delhi, and while they're meant to be in Florida, Sonomax is a real establishment that is very much in Brooklyn, New York instead. Now, this is a very small point, but I have to make it. Beatrix Hasp says she does not want
sniveling little ratatouille on board.
This most likely refers to the misconception that the chef rat from the film Ratatouille was called Ratatouille. He was in fact called Remy. Ratatouille is the food that Remy prepared for Ego, the restaurant critic, that reminded him of his mom's food from when he was a child. And is that scene in the top 5 scenes that Pixar has ever made? Yes, it is. Finish this video and go watch it again. Charlie refers to Richard Kind's character as the
talented Iron Chef, actually. I mean, not in that kind of way, but
Iron Chef. She means a literal Iron Chef, as he used an electric iron to make a sandwich, and not an Iron Chef from the Japanese cooking show that was successfully transplanted to America. When Beatrix Hasp wonders how she can be certain that Charlie isn't lying about anyone in her crew lying, Charlie quips that they have a
who's watching the Watchmen quandary? Well,
now, this is not a question on the audience of the 2019 TV show, or the Zack Snyder superhero critique of 2009, or the pretty awesome graphic novel by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, both of those were based on, but rather a phrase mistakenly attributed to Plato's Republic, where in his concept of an ideal city, there was a class of guardians that were supposed to keep the peace. The specific phrase is actually traced to a poem by Juvenal that refers to marital fidelity, but it is usually used in the context of corrupt governments and policing or the judicial system. Next, I get that there is a good reason for there to be a blow-up doll in the pilot seat, so that it looks that someone's in the cockpit from afar and Beatrix Hasp and her crew are fooled. But seriously, it is impossible not to think of Airplane, the irreverent disaster movie of 1980, which used a blow-up doll as the autopilot. Then we get the head FBI agent calling the agent that's obsessed with plants Johnny Appleseed. This isn't a random nickname, but rather refers to John Chapman, a pioneer nurseryman that lived at the turn of the 19th century and who became an American icon by traveling and planting nurseries using apple seeds. In terms of throwaway references, I love this one by Beatrix Hasp to Mulaney's character. She says, "Cool
your jets, Maverick."
Now, of course, cool your jets is a fairly common expression, but when she adds Maverick, it makes you think that maybe she's referring to Tom Cruise's character in Top Gun. But as it turns out, Maverick is the name that Mulaney's Danny gave to her instead of his real name. And this comes back right at the end of the episode when she doesn't know his real name to give to the FBI, delaying his reveal and giving him time to get on the plane and try to kill everyone. Speaking of Mulaney's character, he casually refers to Natasha Lyonne's Charlie as Prince of the City. This is another deep-cut, outdated pop culture reference to a 1981 movie starring Treat Williams about a corrupt New York narcotics detective who is reluctantly recruited to help investigate police corruption. Soon he realizes nobody can be trusted, which is happily not the case with Charlie, as she can trust Luca. And that's it from me for this one. Please like if you enjoyed this, and make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss my Poker Face Easter egg videos as the season progresses. Thanks for watching. And this is what you get from Google when you search for airplane ! Autopilot.